Alright. Just doing my rounds real quick. It was a whole thing. Okay. Hey Zoomers, thanks for the lurk. Gotta preen. My hair is caught in my headphones. There we go. Okay. So, what I'm going to work on now. First, I can actually stop that, because it has already done what it needs to do, and close all this stuff from last night. And I need to update this. We should switch the music over to the lo-fi stuff. There we go. Oh. I gotta give everybody the stream avatars before I get too into this. I almost forgot about them. Figure now it expires and I have to re-authenticate. Okay. Yeah, isn't that what I have? Is it this one? No. Or does it take up more capacity now? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Yeah, no, this is exactly why okay, fine, I'll redo the login. How about that? Will that count? I mean, you were saying I was logged in, but Okay. All right. So we should be good now, right? Cool. That was more tedious than it needed to be. This is one of the slowest processes in the world, but only on this computer for some reason. Must be a PowerShell thing. Okay. It's going to index, which takes a minute. Let's run npm. Okay, cool. And good. I don't have to commit anything, so that's good. Good on that front. Oh, That's an old to do. I was really confused. I never got rid of that entire. It was just for testing. Probably ought to get rid of that. It's not holding anything important in it though. Okay. The stuff I actually want to do, first of all. Let me cache my components real quick. Oh, we're gonna get in there. I gotta migrate. Also have to make a change to the tickets table that technically a migration would make, but I did it after this was migrated. This has to be possible to be. In reality, what I probably should have done is made the ticket quote-unquote user a morph, and then just had the two, because the two objects are both parented off of the same thing. So that would have probably been the better, and I guess I could probably retrofit that at some point, but it functions for now. So all right, so now let's get, because I don't think I've set the seeder up to actually put anything here on the home page. So we'll do a stream status bar. We can do hero. I don't think I have a hero seated yet, so that's fine. I'll have to delete that for the moment. Do promotion banner. And then we can do a 2-column split. Let's do a Twitch stream embed. Show chat. And we can also do store new releases. And do a Discord. I don't care if this link is necessarily valid, but we'll just use the legitimate one. Save changes. That'll at least give us something on the home page to deal with. Give me just a second. All right. I had something going on in the Discord. Okay. Oh. The ad breaky thing didn't kick in. That's annoying. Let's see. I'll see what I can do after the stream. I can do that after I'm live. Oh. My automation is not working. Now I have to do that manually for what it... Or maybe it was? I just saw the thing say that the ad state ended, but it did it like right after I clicked the button, so I don't know. I'll have to see on the next ad break if it's actually working. Everything's being weird. Okay, that should already be saved. Yeah, it's connected via a webhook, so I'm not really sure what the problem is. Oh, interesting. It doesn't think I'm streaming. That's why. All right, so there is a problem. I'll have to deal with that after stream. That's probably related to the issue that I had launching everything. Okay, so got that. So now what should happen is that the home page should have stuff on it. Yep. And includes the chat. This is actually interesting bug that I've had, but I don't think will happen on the production site. Because it's, I believe, probably like an SSL issue. Also, I've noticed an issue where like the player doesn't like being active in more than one browser. So that's probably what that problem is. But everything else is looking good. How many users? Oh, the first user on this computer on this setup was not my account. It was the generated one. So that's why it's doing that. That's fine. Good. This stuff's working here. That's good. I do probably want to PHP artisan db seed permission. Oh no, it's gonna be caps. Permission seeder. Most of those are going to already exist. That's fine. Now a permission set seeder. So it can lump all the similar ones together. A permission group seeder. And then we can run the rule seeder. And that should, because I've modified the permissions since the last time I updated all that on this environment. Oh, that's my mistake. There we go. Cool. So, I don't think that'll have changed what I have access to over here. I think that's all that was already pretty much there. Yeah. So the thing I wanted to work on specifically during the stream was technically a new feature. This guy. Nope, this guy. I need the onboarding tutorials. Just open that over here, where I can actually create a branch with it. And we're going to move this guy ready. And we need to update so we can see the new branch. And feature onboarding tutorials checkout. I have a specific package in mind for this guy. Let's see. What's that all about? Where's my thingy? This. Would you move to in progress, please? Okay, so I had a specific package in mind for that. Did I not? No, there it is. This guy. Can I just go to the GitHub for it, please? You really just gonna do me like that? I didn't realize you had so many. Let's see. The heck was that one called? Tutorials. This one? Yes. Yeah, so this is the idea behind this. Yeah, I know it's an alpha version. I'm fine. Although, you say that, but like, these aren't marked as pre-release, so I think you just haven't updated your documentation, which in itself could be problematic. But yeah, this is, it's not, I mean, it's also not a core necessity. The idea is that it gives new users, and then if you add moderators to your site, it gives them an onboarding to show them where to go and what to do. So, need to add, nope, not that. You were supposed to copy that. Oh, what isn't it like? Oh, this is a Windows specific issue. There's 2 PHP extensions that are commonly required that it works fine without, but it doesn't know that, and it will complain. Especially because they're all tied to Horizon, which is just a debugging tool and not something that users would generally use. Okay, so yeah, custom theme, which I've actually already done. I then have to add the resources to the theme and add the plugin to the dashboard. And then on the pages, target widgets, form selector, field selector, component selector. Okay. Overall, this is going to be tedious to set up, I think. Where the frick is my resources file? Yeah. Close the views. It wants... Oh, wait, no, it wants Tailwind. It wants this guy. Oh, I actually already did that. So I probably did that preparing for this one. But I don't think it was already in there, was it? Oh yeah, it might have been. I might have already had added it in there. And just never gone through the rest of the setup process. Okay. That actually makes it a little easier. Okay, let's start with, because the moderator panel isn't even fully set up. So let's start with our admin panel provider. Did I add it to the plugins here? I did. Okay. So that I just don't have it on the pages. Yeah. So I need to implement has tutorials on components and pages. So probably would start with like the page settings or the site settings. So if I understand correctly, I can do it from here, right? Because it says page or filament page. So we do an implement has tutorials. Import the class. Oh. I probably don't need these because I'm supposed to do this. Yeah. Now it doesn't complain. So then we mount the tutorial. Oops. Wrong window. Okay, so then we have to have okay. So I assume and I'll be honest, actually, this can go away because I do that in another place now. So, with these steps, defaults to a form selector or field selector. Widgets or actions. These are components. So generic can target via CSS. So then not that. It would be, where was it? Component selector was what I was trying to do. Oh. I see the problem. Did I not? Oh, I didn't get the opening bracket with that guy either, did I? Okay, let me fix that, because that's annoying. I was just wanting to do a closed bracket on stuff. Okay, so let's see what that does. Yeah, I know why you're complaining. You refreshed on me while I was mid thing. Okay. So ideally, I probably want to do one on there that can tell them what's in each of these things, but oh, that's right. That's actually going to fall under general settings. How does it determine when to do the tutorial? Well, that's cool. I like that. I wonder, do I need to recache the component? Or do I need to... Let me build npm real quick. That thing was already in there, so it should be fine. And then try rehashing this. All right. This cluster could be the problem, to be honest. To be fair, it does caution me that this thing's not ready for prime time. Head them out to the dashboard. Yeah, I did that. Don't call parent mount. I mean, I'm not getting an error, but it says don't call it, so get rid of this then. Okay. I wonder if the clusters are a problem. If so, that's a bit problematic. Okay, let's start off trying to do the dashboard. We can work on the information that's on the dashboard. Dashboard. Implements has tutorials. Actions and columns. Selector. I might have to do a selector and then do it by CSS. Okay. Helpful. Did I cock it up? I might have cocked it up, guys. Just so it doesn't yell at me, I'm going to do this as a selector. And have it indicate on wonder if I can just... have it select FI dashboard page. That might be too ambitious, but it might work. So I'm gonna have to be like, this is your dashboard. All right. I think I made an oopsie because I added and in fact, this one might be missing from the other one as well. Okay, I had added that one, but not... Oh, that is so annoying. Why will you not? Okay. Now I probably need to run build again. That could explain an issue I had been having with the calendar, but I had clearly fixed that by adding it. So... okay. Nothing so far. But on the other page, I may have to cache my stuff. Either that or there's a command I'm missing. It's been a minute since I started up the theme. I've made the theme. The theme should be... yeah. Theme's there. Okay, we have an ad starting soon that I will have to trigger myself. So my automation is broken. Yeah, see, you run the build, which I did, but am I getting a specific? Which JavaScript errors do we got? Livewire. Okay, so it's looking for data.site enabled. Site name and site logo and having trouble with those. Okay, well, what if okay, the ad actually finished. Cool. So it's looking for, it seems like, these elements, which suggests that it is loaded, but it's having trouble finding some of them, which could be part of the problem. Like if it can't match them all, maybe it just errors out and doesn't load. Cannot be found on component app limit pages site pages, but it's the page that's loaded. So there is like an error happening that is the likely cause. What about on the dashboard? Interesting. Okay, those are widgets. So instead of trying, let me just try to select one of the widgets on the dashboard. Because I kind of suspect knocking shit over. I kind of suspected that, yeah, F. I knocked my water bottle over. Definitely a failure. I kind of suspected that this wasn't going to work on that element. So not that. Where is it? This one. So damn, that looks clean. So it depends entirely on what thing you were just talking about, because it could have not been my work. Well, this is the actual site that I'm working on. If this is what you were talking about. So this is built on Laravel, which is a PHP framework. And then it has a additional package called Filament. And Filament is handling this backend dashboard, which lets me create all these different pages to manage resources in it. And then the regular Laravel site handles everything on the front end. And what I've done is created, so I'm kind of trying to create something that I can release open source and that other people can use if they want. So like you can customize pages. It is not super well optimized, and it's also running on my like local computer right now. So like the home page, it's got, similar to like a WordPress system, it's got like blocks that you can put on the page, and depending on what the block is, depends on what you can control about it. Like I've got this section block here that splits into 2 columns and lets you put things side by side. And so like this controls what is showing up on this page, on this home page. And so like I've got a Twitch integration where if you set it up with your information, it can do things like show this when you're live. There would be a stream embed here. It doesn't like to work on my local machine for whatever reason. I think it's probably like an SSL security issue. And then it also has like a built-in, it's not really a Discord bot, but it kind of acts like one. You can set up rules. This was one of the things I really wanted that didn't seem to. You could obviously have a Discord bot to post when you go live. Those exist. But most of them had where you could only post like to a specific channel or mention a specific role for all of your streams. And what I really wanted to do was be able to mention specific roles in specific channels based on what category I was live in, because some people might only want notifications for, say, development streams, and some people may want them for games and this and the other. So I created a alert system for it. So you can create a rule, and what it'll do is you enter regex string for a category, and it can pull the roles that are in your Discord, and you can pick those that you want to mention and what channel you want to mention in, and then you can customize the message that it sends. And when that runs, and it's basically, it runs a worker in the background, and it's actually what I use. So I temporarily, since it's on my local computer right now, I temporarily launch a worker in my IDE before stream, and then like it runs every 5 minutes and checks to see if I'm live. And it also has it cached based on the stream ID to know if it's the same stream. And so it'll post a notification in Discord. So like if I go live, Discord gets, where is it? Up here. Discord gets a notification from my bot that I'm live, and it pings the correct channel and everything, or the correct role. You building something similar? Yeah, I used to use like WordPress and stuff like that in Drupal, and the main thing I was running into was there were certain features I wanted, which I could have programmed the bot in as like a custom plugin for like a WordPress or something. But at that point, I was like, well, WordPress has a lot of extra stuff I don't need. Need to give it a parent array. So if you're local, okay, I will look at that later. I'm trying to get this onboarding tutorial thing working. Did you try to send a link? Is that what that was? It just started out. It might have auto-modded you. You can whisper a link to me if you want to send a link. Just send it as like a whisper. Like a DM. See, the interesting thing is, I didn't... Yeah, I see it. I'll pull this up later. I actually probably had the Twitch API down here already. I probably had other websites. I'm pretty sure this is already done, but what it might be doing is, because like you said, local host, but I technically am running like a local DNS. So locally, that URL is correct, but because it's not real on the internet, Twitch may be complaining about it. It was working. When I first set it up, it was working just fine, and then it stopped. And I just, because I don't have it on a live server yet or anything, I haven't really gone back to address it. But I'll keep that in mind to look at later. Yeah, if it works, that's what's important. Oh, we made something mad. Oh, I made it mad. I know why I made it mad. It's because I actually, like, there's no step here. I stopped halfway making that change. I want to try to widget. So where was the stuff about widgets? Currently, only the index of the widget is supported. So well, let's just do widget 1, because I know that there's multiple widgets, and I don't actually know which one it considers the first one. So widget selector, full into PHP. That's what I do most of my more advanced stuff in. I used to just build static websites, and then so my first jump into like PHP was with WordPress. And, you know, like many people that were using WordPress when they started off, they would just use the stuff that was out there. But a lot of that stuff is like premium stuff. And so eventually, because I ran some WordPress sites for like an old employer and some other things like that. And eventually I had to start writing custom plugins and custom features and widgets and stuff and themes for them. And so that kind of just drove me into learning PHP. I am by no means an expert at it. It's very much a monkey typewriter situation half the time, because like I didn't take a class on it or anything. I've just kind of learned as I've gone. And then Laravel was kind of just an extension of that. When I React JS, yeah, if I use React or really JavaScript at all, it tends to be like like existing libraries. I don't really write mine from scratch most of the time. I can do JavaScript if I have to. I just kind of, that one doesn't click for me super well for whatever reason. But yeah, mostly PHP stuff. I try to do things with PHP, and also I tried to avoid JavaScript for a long time because when I was working with some of my old employers, there were some clients that they had that locked down their browsers and didn't allow JavaScript to run on their browsers. And so like you had to kind of find non-JavaScript ways of doing things. So that's just kind of the mindset I've stuck to when possible. There's obviously a lot of JavaScript in what's going on here, but most of it's part of like the filament package and everything, because it uses Tailwind and some other stuff just natively when you do filament. Yeah, like this is a Tailwind config that goes with a theme in filament. It's for loading like the filament, which is the admin panel. Okay, so I got a widget. Let's see if this does what it's supposed to do. Okay, so presumably, if it's able to select one of these, it didn't like something. What didn't it like? I saw it. It popped up down here. Okay. Are we getting an... So we're not getting the same selector error that we get on the page, but it is not loading the tutorial up here for whatever reason. I may have to look into another package. So what I'm trying to do, and it's one of those things that seems a little bit beyond something I want to code from scratch, is since I'm designing this so that other people can use it, I'm trying to set up, let me just move this down here. I'm trying to set up onboarding so that when a new user comes on, or if you add a moderator, because I have like roles and permissions in the system, if you were to add a moderator to your site, they would have an onboarding process to show them how to use the site. Now, admittedly, this thing even said it's not production ready, but I thought this was just outdated documentation, because in the issues, they pointed out that there was a typo, and then like they seemed to have stopped tagging these as alphas. Like these are tagged pre-release, but these are not. So I kind of thought it was out now, and they just hadn't updated their documentation, which is also probably still the issue. I bet this documentation is just wrong. There's probably something I'm missing. Okay, let's try this. I don't know which widget it's going to select, so I'm just going to do hello world. And let's see. This was sort of a nice to have feature, so I'm not, if it doesn't work, I'm not terribly concerned. And based on a comment somebody made in one of the issues, I'm kind of figuring that there's other packages out there that can do this. Okay, so yeah, it's not working there. And it wasn't working on this page either. So but here I'm actually getting an error because on this one it is actually giving me a live wire error claiming it can't find the data, but I mean data site enabled should be this guy right here. Yeah, right here, button, data site enabled. That's what its ID is. State wire entangled, data site enabled. It's right there. Why do you not see it? I suppose the other issue is likely that I think he mentioned in one of the comments that I was reading, the developer mentioned that they had not updated it to 11 yet, Laravel 11. This was dashboard, which I caught this part, and so I was like, oh, there's a typo in the documentation. I removed that. That's what it should be doing. And it might not work. This was in 2024, though. What is it? What are in his releases? Ah! Laravel 11 support. Right there. It's there. It's just not in their documentation. Is my version wrong? That could be it. 1.1. I'm on the latest. Why is your stuff broken? I meet these. This, I mean, technically is true, but he, in releases, says 11. I meet this. Done this. Okay, maybe let's try it on a project resource and see if that makes a difference. I really, like on an actual asset resource, really don't think that's gonna help, but also, even if it works on that, that's not super useful if it doesn't work on all of them. post resource. That's fine. Let's do post resource. Hang on, cancel. Wait a minute. I noticed they specifically show it on the pages for the post resource, which would put it here. I'll copy this and then I'll just remove. Text is too small to read. I can switch the viewport. I'm trying to get a package created by somebody else to do something that I want it to do. And so far, it seems like it's got either a problem with it or a conflict that it's not making 100% clear. All right, so then we'll change these. This is good. We need the step, but we'll get rid of this. And then the actual field name that we'll be looking for will be title. Zend, don't miss Zend. This is PHP with Laravel and some other packages installed that I'm working with. All right, so let's try this on the posts page. Specifically on the create page. Okay, so it will work, but very situationally. So it's been really getting people back into PHP these days. I got into it, and maybe this is what other people did. I got into it because I used to do a lot with WordPress. Some of my old employers, I ran websites and stuff for them and built custom like plugins and things like that. And I eventually, once I moved on from doing those, I was still using it for my own stuff. And then there was a lot of drama, and I don't know if it's settled down at all. I haven't kept tabs on it since I started working with Laravel. There was a lot of drama around WordPress and its founder, and everything. And so I was like, you know what? They're getting real handsy with their licensing and or their licenses and stuff. And seems like they're trying to brute force people to do, very specific things. And he's got a real attitude on him. So I kind of just moved away from all that, decided to find something else to do. And I said, you know what? I'll just pick up Laravel and start doing things kind of from scratch. Now that's required a lot of learning it as I go and monkey typewritering things. And I haven't done anything super major with it. This is probably the most major thing I've tried to do with it so far. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big jump if you jump from a full-on CMS system, unless you I slapped Filament into it, which is another Laravel plugin, and that's what's handling my back end. But like the front end is pretty bare bones. But it's giving me that sort of CMS-like behavior. Okay, so this works in a resource specifically, but the guy seemed to indicate it would work on the dashboard. He even replied to somebody. So what have I done wrong here? Is it that it extends a page? Because that extends a create record, which is a page, right? Yeah. And in fact, I have the parent mount here, but he said that was a typo. Are the issues lying to me? Now it does say it's not found in filament pages page. So I wonder if I have to extend my dashboard off of dashboard. This seems like a bad idea. Could you just import it, please? What doesn't it like is caching forms. Okay. It doesn't see those. Okay. So extending dashboard doesn't look to immediately be the answer. So wonder where it goes when you skip it. Doesn't go anywhere immediate that I can see, so that's not helpful. Because these are widgets, so it should be selecting the first one, which presumably is actually this guy, but it might do that. I'm so confused. I have the implements and I have the interacts. It makes sense why he says to remove the parent mount, because it doesn't exist on page. But it might exist here. Okay. I didn't test it with the parent mount on this one because I had already read that documentation. So let's test it there. If it can't work on the dashboard, and that's like the one place it doesn't work, I'm not too bothered by that. It's trying on this one though, because I was getting a JavaScript error, which I'm not getting anymore. What if we do it as a... Yeah, it should be a component selector. Wonder if that's it from Livewire, because it's, in this case, it's already in Livewire, I think, is the problem. The documentation didn't mention that, I don't think. Let's just see what this does. Okay, it's looking for an array. Hey, Key. I'm troubleshooting, sort of. I'm trying to make something do something and it's not cooperating, is basically the shortest way to... Let's try a field selector. I already tried that recently, but let's try it again. Now that I've made it work on a resource, I see no reason why it shouldn't work on these pages, especially not when this one was at least giving me like a JavaScript error that told me there was a problem. Dashboard's not doing anything that I can find an indication of something going wrong or... Okay. Now, it could be... Are you at least getting a JavaScript error? No. No JavaScript error. Recache components? Because I was at least getting an error before. The error wasn't solving my problem, but it was something. Yeah, it's a bunch of permission stuff, which is fine. All right, we got an ad break. How are you doing, Key? Although, wait, you're probably in ad hell. Alrighty. We should be back from ads. So we're not getting the JavaScript error. Oh, just before, or right as the ad break happened, I was asking how you were doing, Key. And then I realized you were stuck in ads, probably. Playing Overwatch, that tracks. That tracks. So widget selector. Make data attribute. What are these? Show as ID data.site name. So what if I do them as standard selectors? You give me my import class, and then we do this for IDs. We do the pound sign data dot, because that's what the actual ID ends up becoming. Because I'm assuming the widget won't show up at all until there's at least one step in its tutorial. Surely me skipping the tutorial on that other screen didn't like skip all of it. Oh, Kamikaze, I don't think TTS works on... Oh yeah, there we go. There it goes. It does work on YouTube. You have to do it through Blurb. But I see your message. My day is going well. I'm just trying to get this package that somebody created for like user onboarding to work so that I can do some tutorials. It only seems to work in certain circumstances, contrary to their documentation. Per component to add, which is fine. I'm only trying to add one. You know what? I just thought that blurb link goes to YouTube, but it requires channel points, which are a Twitch thing. So that actually doesn't probably work. To mount a specific tutorial, but the mount doesn't exist. On this. Well, no, it exists here. What if I remove it from here? Because before I was getting the JavaScript error, at least. Because they say to remove it from dashboards. That still doesn't work, but what do I get when I do it that way? Do I at least get my JavaScript error again? Yeah. I at least get my JavaScript error. Interesting. So this package may not work for me in this case because it's only seeming to work on resources, but I have pages and the dashboard. It also doesn't say what happens with it when, I guess, somebody closes out of it. They never replied to that one. Yeah, see, I've tried that. This is what I'm doing. It doesn't seem like it actually launches the thing, which I assume is tied back to this situation. In the case of the dashboard, mount does not exist. But that worked for them and doesn't work for me. Yeah, and in this case, they resorted to using a different plugin, but this one was a paid one. Okay. Let's look for yeah. Is it a well? I'm assuming that for one thing, it's not going to be a pay once situation. On Discord. There's a Laravel on board? Maybe I can make that work? I note they don't even mention where you can get it. Their documentation also seems to be wrong because I don't think there is a filament. Wow, their documentation links all kinds of things wrong. Okay, so there's this thing then, but this isn't meant for filament, presumably. It says you can render it however you want. So, I mean, I guess in theory, I could render this on the front end. and it would just show them as steps, but I kind of liked it actually pointing to the fields. Yeah, I mean, this is an option because I could put this on the dashboard as a widget. Then, if that's the case. Yeah, I could do that. It's not really what I wanted. But I'm gonna roll back those changes for now. And we'll put, of course it's a spacey package too, that at least gives me hope for it being well supported. Oh, it's that stupid thing again. Windows does not like these two PHP extensions. Or rather, they don't exist for Windows, and it doesn't like that they don't exist. It's got something in place of them. I wish that it wouldn't freak out about that. Okay, so to get that started, we need to add to any model or class onboardable and gets onboarded. So in this case, it would go on our user. got those, which should stop that complaining. Yeah, cool. And then on our boot, we have to add steps to it. Finding a step available to all classes. Okay. Then I could have a sort of onboarding for both sides then. Okay. So you have to complete it if... Okay, so I have to probably give it conditions. So that's going to require a little additional setup. But this doesn't look too bad. So... Okay, so like if I take site settings, for an example, what I probably have to do then where is it? I probably need to create a function in here that checks these and decides if they've done everything they need to do. I've got additional settings in here that I don't have on my resource. Did I? I didn't finish putting all these in here. I don't actually even know what the current Unicode timestamp would be. Not Unicode. You know what? It doesn't really matter. We'll do one that should just be earlier than now. just kind of do this guy here. We'll just mimic this one. And the ones we are missing, site favicon. I mean, we'll just put that as an empty string, because I think that's what I've got that set as. Yeah, it's a string. How did I do? I actually probably need to not do it that way because I ended up not doing the setting that way. For the logo, I removed the logo out of the database. Can register is already in there, actually. Time zone, date format appear to be the ones I didn't have yet. Site, time zone. I probably have to set that a specific way. We'll just do that. And then site, date, format. I'll have to look up what the actual strings that I need to use are, but that's fine for now. It gets the settings in there, and that's the important part. So then what we should probably do is for the documentation, it wants it's suggesting like an is complete method. So So what we needed to do is go through all of these and figure out if they are set. But more importantly, figure out if they are set with something other than the default. So like, let's see here. We know what our defaults are because they're in the seeder. And then check this for example. How did I go about getting? Yeah. So now this is technically it loading itself. Our tagline. I don't so much care about the logo. And register. Okay, and then we also want to make sure that they're not null. But I'm going to allow these values here to be null, because that'll help us tell if they're completed or not. And then do if site name and site name is not equals to the default. Because, I mean, realistically, nobody should need to do, nobody should be keeping the default name. And then false. False. If is active, is true, and actually, that one is probably a simple enough check. Only caring about the stuff that we like want them to absolutely have done. Site tagline is not the default. Oh, we got an ad break. I don't really have to do these as, like, nested statements. But it's easier to read. All right. Ads are about over. Cool. Ads are over. All right. Now do our if can register. And honestly, in this case, I don't care if it's true or not. But what I do care about is that it's not null. This, there's really no reason to do this. Like, really, technically speaking, checking if it's true should also cover that. But I want to allow them to have it off, I guess. For like, it's not really the same as maintenance, but and then actually, we can do both of these together. Cool. This is actually what I expected, is that it's going to see that it could merge them all together, probably. So if the IDE wants to do that, then I'm cool with that. Okay, yeah, I can do that. It probably will want to eventually like condense those down, but I'm not too worried about that at the moment. So the question is, they talk about doing it for teams, defining team steps. So the thing that I'm wondering is, does that mean, let's see, step, user classes, and team classes. What if I'm doing this with roles? Okay, so now the question is, maybe that'll work. I'm not sure. We also need to... No, that's the one that's got to be... Okay. It's the user model. We also need to know how to exclude. Because we want to exclude... if the user I think I have an is admin. No? Oh, what if I can just do model can, instead of checking for a specific role, I could check for, I have specific permissions for super admin. Or is admin. That'll hang on. I really want that. I want the opposite of that. Because I want it excluded if they are not super admins. Okay. And then complete if. I have to do. Oh, nope, not that. Stop it. You know, what if I just add, because it didn't require me to add any methods, right? So what if I just add onboardable? Might even be easier to do this. Add it to this so that all of the settings could be onboardable. Helps if I do implements onboardable. It says you need the interface and the trait, but I also notice it's not yelling at me for not having. So I'm gonna do that for now. I don't know that it's gonna matter, like unless I give it a step, I don't know that it actually would matter. But now, theoretically, and so then we could do now. See, it's looking for like is locked and all this other stuff, but I added this is complete function here. So I'm assuming that's just not in my documentation. We're just going to ensure that that shouldn't be necessary. We're just going to ensure that it's true. Configure setup your site. Set your site settings. And then the link for that ends up being here. I could probably do that with a route, I'm betting. And then we need a widget for the dashboard. Is it filament widget? We'll call it onboarding. Widget. We want to create a custom widget. I'm pretty sure. What were my other widgets? Because they were all custom widgets. I mean, you'd think that would answer my question, but it kind of doesn't. Because I remember there being something weird about them. Do they not have... folders up here? I could have swore they did. They must just be down here in my views somewhere. Views, filament, component. Nope. Is it components? Or to put it in Livewire. We'll just say 3. It doesn't need a resource. Let's just do app Livewire because okay, yeah, that's why they're all in Livewire. I was looking for widgets, but I did them all in Livewire so that I could use them in other places. These are just widgets, right? Base calendar widget. Students calendar widget. That was a stats overview widget. This one just extends widget, which I think is what the custom is. Yeah. So, let's see. Setup guide. What am I doing? I am working on a customized CMS, which is a content management system for what will eventually be my website. I haven't had a website in a while, so I'm getting a new one going. And so in place of something like, say, WordPress or Drupal that you might use, this one is like a from the ground up pretty much system that I probably will release for other people to use if they want. That's what I'm planning on doing. And it's built with like streamers and like content creators in mind, because it has integrations into Twitch, so you can actually see like Twitch information. It actually knows that I'm live right now. It shows like upcoming streams. It can integrate into Discord and post your stream alerts to Discord, but also like in a configurable way. That was one of the things that like a lot of the existing bots that are out there are kind of limited, like, because there's a bunch of them out there, right? But even the ones you pay for, you generally are limited like to a single type of announcement. And what I wanted to do that I couldn't find one that could do it is be able to have different roles get pinged in my Discord servers on like different channels depending on the category I was live in. Because like some people that join the Discord might only want to know for gaming live, like a game related live stream. In some cases, you know, not just me, but someone might have like specific games that they want their streams to be, you know, pinged to. That would get really tedious over time to set up, but you could do it. And then the live stream, you set like your roles and everything in here. It's like configured. You think I could sell it? I mean, I do have it set up where I could take donations for it. The problem I have with selling it is that then that would set me in like an obligation to provide like consistent ongoing support. Whereas if I release it open source, people can modify and add features that they want. You know, generally the idea behind most open source projects is you kind of use them at your own discretion. So that's sort of the idea behind this, is other people will be able to use it, but like I don't have to have like a support contract. I could if I was making enough money on it, but I don't expect, especially anytime soon, for that to be. I mean, so technically the license that I have it under, yes, someone could fork and monetize it if they really wanted to. I'm not really that concerned about it. I didn't do this to make money. I did this because I wanted it to exist. And like, because I have other projects that I would probably work on that I would want to monetize. This one's not really one of them. Well, Key, I mean, I appreciate the compliment, but it's also because like I wanted it to exist. The thing that really got to me specifically, and there was no reason for it to be part of a website, but it seemed the easiest way to do it, is the Twitch thing, like being able to configure specific types of stream categories to go to specific pings. Oh, I absolutely agree. You monetizing your work is totally cool, and but this is a project that I kind of just want to do and then set it up for my website, and I'll add features and maintain them as I need them, but otherwise people can do what they want with it as far as I'm concerned. Because once I get done with this, I want to get back to working on my game idea, which is the other kind of development thing that I tend to do. This is just kind of getting it out there to make sure people know where to find me. Is that command not working? That's embarrassing. Hang on, I'll fix it. How long did it take to make this? Give me a second. So I'm just gonna restart the Streamlabs bot because that's the one that controls those commands. Sometimes it just breaks. It was working in YouTube earlier, which is why I assumed it was fine. Okay. So let's try this again. One man's poison. Yeah. So commands are not broken anymore. There is an about command, but I can talk about myself too. So I actually work as a software developer as my day job. But I work mostly on like web projects related to a platform called Salesforce, and it's not a lot of custom stuff generally. No, I'd rather not do that, Burger. If that's all right. So, I already kind of do development work. And I'm not great at having hobbies that aren't related to my day job, apparently. So, I have a background in software development, but I also have my original first degree I went for was in software, was specifically in game development. So I was going to do game design. That's what I wanted to do. But the industry was really difficult to get into. So went off and did like help desk for like 5 years. So I was like a IT help desk / like system administrator. Oh, thank you for the bit. That's everyone. I mean, anything's appreciated, and you don't have to feel obligated to do that. But thank you. So where was I? Yeah. Why is YouTube doing... Okay, whatever. YouTube was doing weird things. So I went off, did software, like support work for like 5-6 years. And then I got this job that I have now where I do development work. So I get to actually make use of the stuff that I went to school for. But I've had some game ideas kicking around in my head for a long time. Like he used the command for One Man's Poison, which is a sort of a Resident Evil style horror game that I'm like, there's nothing to show really for it right now. I've been working on like just basic control systems and stuff for it most recently. How long have I been coding in companies? Officially, only like a little over 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. Technically speaking, I did a year or two of coding work when I was doing that software development job, or not the software development job, that help desk job. They had, I was also running their website, which was a WordPress website. I had to write some custom WordPress plugins. And then I also did some, what was it in? I think it was .NET scripting to do some custom actions for a program called AutoStore. that was used by a customer of that old employer of mine. They wanted, like, what was it that it was trying to do? They wanted, let me see if I can find it. I think it's public, the script that I wrote. I'm not logged in on this browser, so we'll see. Is it public? A lot of these are forks, so don't get impressed. That's so this was a custom thing I wrote. This was that was for an employer. Is it not in here? It may not be public. I don't see it. It may not be public. So I had to write some scripts for that AutoStore system, and they were in .NET, but they might be private. And I'm no longer part of that organization. But like for them, I wrote, they're not even really plugins. They were just like parts of a theme that I made for WordPress. That employer used a service called CEO Juice that pulled in like survey results and stuff for businesses. And so I wrote these parts that would pull these components that could be pulled into the theme, the custom theme that I was maintaining for them, that loaded in. You know what? Screw it. Let's just look at their website. It should still be there. This is where we find out if they've changed their website since I worked there. This was what I wrote. It pulled in this here, and they don't show their customer reviews anymore. Oh, there they are. There they are. They're above here. They've moved them. So I wrote this little component here. And so this was all pulled from, why is my sound raspy? I'm assuming you just mean my voice. I'm guessing the music's not raspy. My voice isn't always raspy. I've been talking a lot today, not just from like stream. In fact, I probably need to drink some water. I'm also trying to talk a little quieter because my wife is asleep in the next room and I don't want to talk too loud. Yes, so that website was running WordPress. It was running like a custom WordPress theme. I was not the original maker of the theme, but why didn't you use plugins? Well, so that was the thing. So at least at the time, there was not a CEO Juice plugin for WordPress. At least not a public one, not one I could find. So I had to develop one myself. The other problem, and it's one of the reasons I kind of moved, one of several reasons why I moved away from doing stuff on WordPress, was that so many plugins would be like software as a service. So they would require like a subscription to use, even if what they didn't require any like server side activity from, like it wasn't part of a service. Like the actual, everything was running, like could be running locally to you. It didn't have to like phone home. Redeem stretch. Yeah, I probably need to stretch. But yeah, so a lot of WordPress plugins try to lock you into a subscription model, which is cool. Like we said, it's great if you get paid for your work, but if there's not a like service that you're actually having to maintain, then you should just be, charge like an initial amount and then maybe charge for updates, like have a license that I only get updates for an X amount of time. But there were a lot of them that, like, if you stopped paying for them, they just stopped working entirely. You don't even get the whatever version you had at the time. And so I always found that really frustrating with WordPress, which is why a lot of times I would develop my own stuff for it, which is what got me into doing PHP specifically. And then, well, so we're about to have an ad, by the way. I do pause for ads. Yeah, you can, sure. The problem is a lot of times there's not so good stuff in the cracked versions of plugins and themes, and it is possible to tell if someone has cracked some plugins and themes, depending on how they're designed. I'd rather not get like DMCA'd or sued. We should be having our ad break here in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and set the stream up to pause for ads. You redeemed an alert, but I don't think it alerted. Key. Was that supposed to be an alert? Why are my alerts not working? Yeah, that should have been an alert. That's weird though, because I don't... Why wouldn't that work? Let's see. Yeah, the blurb. Interesting. Let me try. It's not even coming up to say. So I was just typing it, but we appear to be back from ads. So Blurp itself may be having problems because it's not even coming up to say, like, in chat that it's playing. Maybe something expired and I need to re-authenticate with Blurp. Your Nightbot was also very delayed yesterday. I mean, it could be, especially when you deal with, because there's only so many like requests that those services can do at a time, or they probably get throttled. Okay, so this is interesting because the actual Blurp dashboard, I'll show this on stream, that's fine. The actual Blurp dashboard shows that they played, but usually it puts something in chat to show that someone redeemed something. Let me... And in fact, it says the last time the browser source connected today, or connected was today. Streamer browser source not connected. What do you mean? Interesting. Okay. So I'm gonna switch the view. I want to try something. I'm gonna try this. I changed this earlier because people said they couldn't read what I was typing, which is all fair and good. Okay, so that's not the answer. At least it doesn't seem to be. Interesting. Let me get the new browser. Let me get another copy of the browser source. Maybe something's changed. Because it's acting like it's not. Well, you know what? So the other thing could be, although I don't think that it matters, is my OBS was being weird today, and it doesn't think that it's like it's showing the timer and everything like it's live, like it's showing a notification that it is live, but like, so normally StreamerBot, let's see, normally StreamerBot connects to it to do like my automations for ads and stuff. Okay, so that link works, but StreamerBot is connected to OBS but thinks I'm not live. So that, I guess, could be the issue. All right. See, it put it in chat that time when I played it off screen. I was just testing the thing before I put it in place. Yeah, so I think it's whatever's wrong with my OBS where it like it's live. Like I've got the connection information at the bottom. I've got my little timer. It's got the dropped frames. Like it is live. My stop streaming button's there, but it's like it's not live. It doesn't think it's live. And I wonder if that's somehow affecting its ability to load the Blurp browser window, because it works if I open the browser window like on the computer, and then it'll play locally. So there's clearly something wrong with the way the stream launched today. So I guess that'll be something I can look at between now and Thursday. Because it's actually time for me to wrap up anyway. I have to be up for work tomorrow. So, let's see who we can raid. Who is live right now? Bye, Burger. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for the follow and the bit. I don't know that person. I don't want to just hit up their stream like that. Let's see. I don't see anyone I'm familiar with that's live, so we can raid. Not read, raid into. There's a ferret rescue that has a stream. If I can type it right, apparently. So I will be live again on Thursday. Everybody have a good night.